things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. So during the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. But they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. So roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. And I have my doubts. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing okay. It's another one of those days, I'll tell you what. As it has been going, I'm not seeing any improvements really anywhere. I know there's a lot of concern about tomorrow. Tomorrow, to be honest, is really, and when I say tomorrow, let me make this clear. I mean the election. I don't think it's I really don't think it's gonna turn out to be anything other than an election. You know what I mean? I don't expect some big conspiratorial attack on, no. I think it'll be an election just like any other election. And, you know, it should be no surprise that I don't have a lot of faith in government. So as far as a red wave and things getting better, I think there's a very likely that there's one of two scenarios that I see happening. A giant red wave. I absolutely do see that. Don't think it's going to put us in any different or better position. I'm not that foolish. Or there is going to be one hell of a fix on, and there'll be a blue landslide. I honestly don't see that happening. Just my opinion. I don't see that happening. I do think that there is going to be a rather considerable gain by Republicans, but I'm not I'm not foolish to think that, okay, now we can just sit back. Howdy, Leo. Now we can just sit back and, let them fix all of the problems they caused for us. Yeah. It's frustrating for me. Every 2 and 4 years, it gets more and more frustrating each election season we go through. Because there are a whole lot of people in this country that are drowning that don't have more time that those that are entitlement minded aren't concerned about. They things are going to change now. What did I mean by entitlement minded? Oh, probably not what most people think when those words are put together. No, I mean the really entitlement-minded. The people that think that the way that this works is by going and casting a ballot every 2 and 4 years, paying their taxes, and the rest is just should be done for them. That is much more dangerous than somebody sitting at home collecting a check. That's a fact. Because if the truly entitlement-minded were active and actually did something beyond voting and paying taxes, the others wouldn't have gotten out of hand. But it was because people just trusted, in many cases, their elected representatives. Many people, probably the majority of people, weren't paying attention for a long time, and things got way out of hand. But we can't fix those things by ignoring the negatives by our own team, if you will. I don't have a team, most people do. No matter whether it's in our own personal lives or whether it's in an international situation, everybody needs to be self-accountable on every single level. Because the moment that you stop being accountable for yourself, you lose integrity. And when you lose integrity, you lose everything. You really do. I'm not saying you can't live without integrity and not have a fruitful life. There's a whole hell of a lot of people without integrity that live a very fruitful life. In fact, it's because of their lack of integrity that they live that fruitful life in many, many cases. We can't fix anything until we first start with ourselves and then build out. We can't fix the economy by forgiving tons of debt, by printing tons of money. Those are not the way to fix those types of problems. The problem is, nobody on either side of the aisle are offering anything that will even remotely begin to fix the problems in this country. The first thing that we need to do in this country is back way the hell up. We need to start getting rid of a lot of this stupid bureaucratic red tape bullshit that's been going on for decades. It had been choking the American people and small and medium American businesses to death, while rewarding those individuals that would sell the American people out for a better profit margin. Voting is not going to fix this. What will fix this is by us being on the asses of whatever elected representatives get selected, elected, or however chosen into office. Staying on their ass non-stop until some of these things are taken care of. Anything short of that, and you cannot expect a damn thing to change. Because it's not how it works. When you completely put a job off on somebody else to do, and you don't even pay attention really or have any kind of contact with them onto the performance that they have, they can do whatever the hell or not do whatever the hell they want. Where's the backlash? I think there are a lot more Americans engaged today in politics, probably than ever in my life, that I can recall. I was born in 1972, and I really couldn't tell you a whole lot up until, say mid-'80s or so, and even then, a lot of those memories are very, very old and faded. But I don't remember a point in time in my life that people were more engaged in politics. Now, when I say engaged in politics, I mean those words. I try to be very clear with language. I said engaged with politics. I did not mean ran out to vote for a particular reason, right? And hey, the one time that I voted, yeah, it was for a reason. The guy I thought was going to do a super duper bang up job needed my vote. The reason I swore out voting, it's a game. The problem is with the game is the way the rules are written. We never get to pass go. We never get to collect $200. And as long as we act grateful to them, they might let us keep our piece on the board. Maybe. The last company that I worked for was Walmart. That's why it was the last company I've worked for at the same time. And there's this whole politics within Walmart in itself. It's its own little bubble. At least I can only speak about my experience at the location I worked. And I don't play that. I never have played that. I've always went to the beat of my own drum. Always. Even as a child. And I remember there was a group of coworkers that wanted to stir up trouble. And I can remember walking in, and I had a little ball. It was like a little hacky sack, except it was a keychain. You really couldn't play hacky sack with it. It was on my key ring. I pulled my key ring off. This was, oh, by the way, if you haven't worked at Walmart, they have a meeting every night, or at least they used to, a meeting every night at the beginning of your shift, okay? Everybody, they go over the numbers and this and that, stats, facts, and all kinds of stuff, any announcements. And then they have this stupid-ass, goofy cheer that they do. I refused. I can say that not one time did that cheer come out of my mouth. Not once. I refuse. Bullshit. The Father did not put me on this earth to chant to some company like they're a god. Not gonna do it. It's a company. Settle down, Francis. So I pulled my keyring off with my little hacky sack ball dangling from it. And I said, you know, every night I come here, you guys want to play games. But your ball is rigged. So I brought my own. That's all I said. I turned around. The meeting wasn't even dismissed or anything else. I turned around and I walked off to go do my job. They didn't like me there. That's okay. I didn't like them either. I'm one of those people that believe that when you go to clock in to work, you're there to do your work. You're not there to play politics. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to stick your nose up the boss's ass. You're there to do a job. Likewise, I think everybody has a job to do, including payroll, including management, you know what I mean? So if I come in and I'm on time every day and I do my work, then there should be no problems. I shouldn't have to be involved in any politics. I shouldn't have to be involved in any games. I shouldn't allow anybody up my ass. I don't want to be up anybody else's ass. I just want to go in there. I want to clock in. I want to do my job. I want to go home. And then payday, I want paid on time. My time off, I want off. I don't want no bullshit of... I've done my time when it comes to fast food and working shifts other than my own. Not just fast food either. Several different jobs. But back to the bigger point in hand. We're not going to fix this any other way than with integrity, accountability, self-accountability, and hard work. I make it sound as if it's something that we can choose. But honestly, I think it's something that we're not going to have a choice with. The scary part of all of that is the large majority of the population aren't ready for that. Out of everything that I look at when I think of SHTF and when I think of the fallout from SHTF, the most concerning thing that I see out of all of it is the psychological impact. That alone is going to be unimaginable. And because of that, the problem itself will be compounded multiple times over. That's why I say I've got that priority list, my prepper priority list. Number 1, spiritual, the Father. Has to be. Number 2, mental. You have to be able to not lose your shit. Mental. Spiritual. Mental. Then intellectual preparedness, knowing how to do the things. And then physical preparedness, having the things to be able to do the things that you know how to do. And praying to God if that didn't work. Kind of the way it goes. You have to be mentally prepared. I learn a lot of valuable lessons in life by watching others. And I have a friend of mine that had taught me, in a roundabout way, taught me how to do something very, very valuable. And I spoke about it before. And it's funny because he thought he was doing it, but there were other reasons why he was doing it. It's kind of just the whole situation was kind of comical. But learning to detach in love is immensely important. Because once you really conquer that ability to do that, you can put yourself mentally outside of about any situation while you're in the thick of the situation, so that you can just do the logical things, the practical things, to try to better whatever situation that may be. If you're all emotionally wrapped up and whipped up, there's a pretty good chance that you may not be making the most clear, most logical decisions. In fact, there's a pretty good chance you're not. So you have to be able to conquer that. You have to be able to conquer the fear. You have to be able to conquer pain. There's a whole lot you have to be able to conquer. It's not going to be an easy road. And I said well over a decade ago that we had a choice then. We could either step in and fix things then and take a loss, because no matter what, there's going to be loss. There's going to be sacrifice. We could have either done something about it, say 10 to 15 years ago, and took a loss then, whatever kind of loss that may have been, or we can let them continue to control the game, put us in even a worse position than we were 10 to 15 years ago, and then have them bring it down upon us when they're ready, and we're in a much worse situation than we would have been 10, 15 years ago. And guess what? That's where we're at. That's where we stand today. I don't think there's a choice in it anymore. I think they're all ready to go. They've got their ducks in a row. And we've got a hell of a battle in front of us. I will say this. You want to see me freaked out? Show me that the final results are a blue wave. If that happens, yeah, I'll be a bit freaked. I will be a bit freaked because I think there's a lot of people that's just fed up. That's the long and short of it. There's a lot of people that's fed up. It's insane. Anyway, I know I'm bouncing all over the place. What is new? I do have several tabs open tonight. Trying to think. Oh yeah, something. I keep wanting to say something because it's like, how the hell did that even happen? Hey, so, and I'm not trying to associate it, but I just think it's kind of funny, the whole, the Hanukkah thing with having enough oil. Well, remember, it was like last week I told you guys, that, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to change flavors on my e-cig probably tomorrow. I think I can squeeze another day out of it. I said those words, right? And I don't remember which night. Probably like Thursday or Friday, something like that. I am now finally vaping the very last little bit of that. So I don't know what the hell's going on. I guess I just involuntarily stopped vaping very much. I guess I'm not vaping very much because I'm not hardly going through any juice at all. It's weird. It's weird. Other than that, glad the heater's all good to go. There's the electric one just kicked on. I've been kind of wondering about that because I hadn't really seen them on. And it's not like it's super warm out or anything. And I actually can't wait until we've got some weather coming up. I say weather. We got some cool weather coming up next week. Let's see. So we're talking Saturday night into Sunday morning. Here it's supposed to be down to 24 degrees. That's what they're saying right now. And so you better believe that come Sunday morning, I'm going to be doing it. I may start doing it not Friday, probably Saturday. Probably Saturday morning. It's supposed to be 28 degrees. I'm probably going to pull that heater out, hook it up, and just see how it does. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to see how it does when the temperature's that cold. You know what? I'm actually thinking that if we spent a few bucks, and obviously more than just a few bucks, but I think if we spent a little bit on diesel fuel, I think that we could massively cut down our power bill when it comes to the winter heating. I really, really do. So I'm going to, now I don't want it running at night when we go to bed or anything like that, but absolutely. And it's not that I don't trust it. It's not, why? Just why? I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. Why? So at night, I'll use the electric heaters, but, first thing in the morning, I'll fire it up and run it till we go to bed. And I'll shut it down, turn on the electric heaters. And I think if we did that, man, we would probably keep our power bill, around a steady, normal thing even through winter. I mean, it'd go up just a little bit, I think, but not like it usually does. So I'm going to see. I'm going to see how much fuel it takes. I'm going to try to figure out the math, even with the stupid, insane high diesel prices, and see. Let's see. I've got, how many? 7, I guess, tabs open. I have a sip of tea. Still, I'm going to try this for a little while of no evening coffee and see how that turns out. Last night, to be honest, I didn't sleep as well and had a bit of a rough time getting to sleep. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to try it, I'll try it several nights, and it may have just been a fluke. So, if it was a fluke, I'm going back to my damn coffee. It's all there is to it. I miss it. Alright. Bring you guys along. Put on your seatbelt. You know it's me driving. Alright. U.S. oil producers enjoy most profitable 6 months ever, says Financial Times. Isn't there a guy that does news, half-assed mind you, but that does news, that has been talking about this here a lot lately? Oh yeah, there is. I think I know that dude. Crazy bastard. Anyway, as the article says, aggregate net income for publicly listed oil and gas companies operating in the United States exceeded $200 billion for the second and third quarters of the year, according to an analysis, however you want to say it, of earnings reports and estimates carried out by S&P Global Commodity Insights for the Financial Times. The media outlet reported over the weekend, citing the analysis, that U.S. oil producers have cashed in on a period of geopolitical turmoil due to the conflict in Ukraine that has shaken up the global energy market and sent prices skyrocketing. The $200 billion figure, which included super majors, mid-size integrated groups, and smaller independent shale operators, marks the sector's most profitable 6 months on record and puts it on course for an unprecedented year, it wrote. Operating cash flow will likely be record-breaking, or at least very close to it, by year's end. Executive Director for Upstream Equity Research at S&P, Hassan El-Touri, told the Financial Times. The report also noted that last week, U.S. President Joe Biden dubbed the outsized earnings a windfall of war and accused companies of profiteering from the conflict. Biden threatened to ask Congress to hit producers with higher taxes unless they invested the cash haul into pumping more oil to bring down prices at the pump. Either way, guess what? You are the one that pays that. That tax will be passed down to you. And this is the thing that gets me. This is how government works. Alright? Because now you've got a big group of people out there, known as the left or blue team. They're like, yeah, tax them. Because they ain't smart enough to realize that it's going to be the individual that has got to pay that in the end. But then you got red team over there that thinks it's a good idea to keep propping these criminals. In my opinion, they're criminals. They want to prop them up and make them untouchable. That's all I'm saying. We got to stop with this high school mentality team play. It's not working out for us. They're using that to do everything that's on their agenda. They're playing people against one another. There is no difference, folks. and where the right or the left intends to take us. There is no difference. Take a look. The right says the left wants communism, but it's the right that wants to control how much people get paid. It's the right that is against people making a livable income. But the left can't expect mom and pop businesses to pay $25 an hour either. Neither have the answer. They just have more problems. So why are we listening to either one of them? I don't know. Sorry, on my rant. Need to go change my tampon and... Hey, if I gotta listen to all the election bullshit, then you guys get to listen to my bullshit every election season. It's a trade. EU and UK energy bills smash record high, says Bloomberg. But, you know, it's just because of the conflict, and it's because of COVID-19, and it's because people won't turn down their thermostats, and it's because the cows are farting all over the place. Oh, that's right. It wasn't because of those things. It's because we have crooks running these industries. Anyway, the average retail gas price across the EU and the UK doubled in October compared to the previous month. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. When it amounted to 18... How in the hell do you supposed to... Okay, somebody tell me right now in chat. How in the hell is this supposed to be said? Spell it out for me. Because I'm going to say 18 cent euros. 18 euro cents? How in the hell do you say that? We're not continuing until somebody tells me. I will stop this car. Okay, well, we'll move on. I'm just curious, though. I really would like to know how to say foreign currency, so I don't sound like a total idiot. But anyway, electricity costs for consumers have reportedly soared 67% to 0.36 euros per kilowatt hour. Hey, that sounds okay. The surge occurred despite EU government's latest attempts to protect households against spiraling energy prices by providing billions in subsidies. EU leaders have pledged more than 550 billion euros over the past year to help businesses and households tackle the energy crisis. According to Philip Lewis, Chief Executive Officer, I can't even speak, at Vesa ETT, it's likely household bills would have been even higher if it were not the financial aid. On a monthly basis, the average unit rate for electricity reportedly increased 3.4% in October, while that for gas grew by 2.5%. The biggest monthly gains were recorded in Dublin, Ireland, where their power rates climbed 44%, while the average gas price in Rome surged 97%. It's crazy. And more woes for the UK. Man, I'm telling you, I really do. I'm concerned for them folks over there. You know, I mean, we've got our share of woes that we're facing, but man, not as bad as the situation they're sitting in. Anyway, British house prices fell in October at the fastest monthly rate since February 2021. A fresh sign of weakness in the real estate market that reflects the fallout from the former government's economic plan, according to Halifax. In a report on Monday, the mortgage lender said property prices had dropped 0.4% month on month after a 0.1% fall in September. The average price has declined to £292,598, or $334,508. Halifax indicated that the slowdown had been partly driven by the September 23rd economic agenda of former Prime Minister Liz Truss, known as the mini budget, which sent British financial markets into free fall and pushed up borrowing costs. The economic plan eventually resulted in the replacement of Truss with Rishi Sunak. I think she was there to do that and a little work with a pipeline. But hey, while a post-pandemic slowdown was expected, there's no doubt the housing market received a significant shock as a result of the mini-budget, which saw a sudden acceleration in mortgage rate increases, said Director of Halifax Mortgages Kim Kinnaird. Sunak and his Chancellor Jeremy Hunt responded to the crisis by signaling likely tax hikes and government spending cuts. This, according to Halifax, could add to the downward pressure on house prices. So, and then, bad news for all of us economically that's not involved in BRICS. Algeria applies to join. They just keep getting bigger, and the more countries that sign on, the less controlling the dollar can be. Because let's face it, that's what it is. That's what they've done with the strength of the dollar. They basically used it to beat on other countries with, and other countries are tired of it, and they're building systems around it. The bad part of that is that's happening because of the things that our government has done and things that big corporations have done, but we're the ones that are going to pay the price for that, not them. They're going to go wherever they have their little bungalows at and live their happy little life, while they leave us to figure out how the hell to fix everything and keep everybody alive. I really do think that there are a large number of individuals that are intending and ready to jump ship and let this ship of a nation sink. Sad. Militarily, some things are going on. I got a few tabs open on this. This is what I've got left. There's 3 tabs. Then we'll read headlines and get the heck out of here. Poland to expand U.S. air base, says defense minister. Poland will expand a military base hosting the U.S. Combat Aviation Brigade in the coming years. The nation's defense minister, Mariusz Blaszczak, announced on Monday during a visit to the facility. Located in the central Polish city of Powice, the base is expected to strengthen the U.S. Air Force operation capabilities in support of Polish and NATO forces in the region, he said. The facility will get new hangars and warehouses, as well as a bulk fuel storage facility nearby, the minister said, accompanied by U.S. Ambassador to Poland, Mark Brzezinski. The Powice base hosts the U.S. Apache strike helicopters. Powice is turning into a military complex preparing to support Polish and NATO forces on the eastern flank of the North Atlantic Alliance, Blaszczak said, amid unprecedented tensions between NATO and Russia over Moscow's continued military offensive in Ukraine. The base expansion comes as part of the 2020 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement between Washington and Warsaw. The accord creates conditions for a permanent, long-term presence of the U.S. Armed Forces in Poland, the Polish Defense Ministry said, adding that it would strengthen national security. Oops. Hang on. Okay, all good. Let's see. A total of 114 infrastructure projects at 11 locations are included into the agreement, which the ministry said will enable the rapid development of additional combat capabilities in Central and Eastern Europe. According to Blasak, Warsaw also plans to build its own military potential by purchasing helicopters and tanks from the U.S., is expected to receive Abrams tanks as early as next year. A purchase order for 96 attack helicopters has also been placed, according to the defense minister. Yeah, there was actually 100, but they're going to park 4 here. It's, part of a trade program. I wish. Let's see. Last week, U.S. President Joe Biden said that the U.S. forces that were temporarily deployed to Poland are likely to stay there for a long time. Warsaw previously asked Washington to permanently garrison troops in Poland, but that would technically violate a NATO treaty with Russia. As if they care. It is unknown how many U.S. troops are currently in Poland, NATO's main logistical hub for supporting the government in neighboring Ukraine. In May, the U.S. ambassador in Warsaw revealed that over 12,600 American military personnel were in the country, the largest number in history. Definitely a build-up going on. Ukrainian defense minister reveals new missile systems. Surprise, surprise, right? Western-produced anti-aircraft systems have arrived in Ukraine and will bolster its military against Russia, the country's defense minister Alexei Reznikov had announced on Twitter. The official posted stock images of NASAMS and Aspide surface-to-air missile systems and thanked Norway, Spain, and the U.S. for supplying them. The weapons will strengthen the Ukrainian army and make our skies safer, he tweeted on Monday. NASAMS, a short to mid-range air defense system produced by U.S. defense contractor Raytheon in collaboration with Norway's Kongsberg Defense and Aerospace, had been promised to Kiev by the Pentagon. A week ago, the U.S. military department said 2 of the 8 launchers pledged to Ukraine would arrive in the very near future. The mid-range Aspide system is designed by the now-defunct Italian firm Selenia. Successor variants are produced by the international manufacturer Leonardo S.p.A. and the Italian branch of the European defense giant MBDA. Spain, which purchased hundreds of Aspide missiles in the 1980s, announced that it was including some of them in its latest military assistance package for Ukraine last week. Ukraine pleaded with its Western backers to ramp up deliveries of anti-aircraft systems after Russia started conducting regular airstrikes against its energy infrastructure last month. Moscow described the change of tactics as retaliation for several Ukrainian sabotage operations targeting key civilian sites in Russia, including the Crimea Bridge. The Russian attack significantly degraded the Ukrainian energy system, forcing power grid operators to maintain a schedule of daily rolling blackouts to reduce the load. President Vladimir Zelensky reported on Sunday that over 4.5 million electricity consumers throughout the country had been affected by the outages. And the last tab I have open. Change my batteries. Hey, I probably shouldn't smack the mic with my headphones. I'll write that in a note. Russia's new nuclear submarine completes tests for service. Russia's new strategic nuclear submarine, Generalissimo Savarov, something like that, is almost ready for the country's Navy, the manufacturers of the vessel at Sevmash Shipbuilding Enterprise in Severnadinvest, however that's said on Monday. The ship, we'll refer to as the ship or the sub. How about we say the sub? The sub has completed all stages of testing by performing several trips to the sea. Well, they're calling it a ship, so hell, it's a ship. The ship's systems have been tested in various modes. Sevmash's CEO, Mikhail Bunyachenko, told the Russian military's TV channel Zvezda. Hey, I'm just trying to pronounce it. Before the Russian Navy gets the new submarine, a series of activities need to be carried out aboard the vessel, including the revision of mechanisms, interior finishing, and equipment loading, he said. Last week, the sub successfully test-fired a Bulava-class submarine-launched ballistic missile, hitting a target at a training range in the far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula from the White Sea. The launch was carried out underwater. The K-553 sub is the sixth vessel of Russia's fourth-generation ballistic missile submarines and the second mass-produced ship in the upgraded Boryai A class. The subs of this class can carry up to 16 nuclear-capable Bulava missiles. The vessel was named after Alexander Suvorov, an 18th-century general who is considered to be one of the most outstanding military commanders in the country's history. The Russian Navy is getting a new submarine amid heightened tensions with the U.S. and its allies over the conflict in Ukraine. Late last month, both Russia and NATO staged nuclear strike drills, with both claiming that the exercises were routine and had nothing to do with current events. And the U.S., I know, had just put a sub out as well. I think Dabu did a video on that today. Hang on, I'm scrolling. Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I saw he reported on it. This is the title of Dabu77's video. It's titled Rider of the Apocalypse, U.S. Nuke Submarine Enters Mediterranean Sea, Holds 24 Trident II Missiles. So, I'm just kind of, there's a back and forth with weaponry that's been going on for a while now. You know that. But I just wanted to show you. Now, I don't know who did what first, or I don't know if the U.S. unveiled they were in the area first, or if Russia announced this. Who knows? My mom can beat up your mom. Alright. Oops. I might want that screen back. Get back here. I don't know if that'll mess anything up, but I don't want to find out. Alright. Have a couple of vapes. We'll run through these. Might go ahead and change my flavor out tonight. Because if I don't, in the morning I'm going to be picking this thing up and it's going to taste like burnt cotton. It's like when you don't go ahead and get gas on your way home from work. You just figure out, hell, I'll get it in the morning. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Never a good idea. Oh, great. Now I got to beat up my e-cig. See, it works. Beat the hell out of it, it works. I've got labels on the battery, and it just adds just enough thickness to the battery that they don't just fall right in and out of the battery holder. And so what happens is I can get them pushed up a little far in there and close the bottom, close the lid, and the cover, and the battery will be stuck up in there and it won't be making contact with the battery cover. So that's why I smack it. It allows the spring to push it down. I could get into the theory of smacking it and the reduction of friction and I love theory. Seriously, I love theory. That's what I've sought to find out in any field that I've ever looked into. I want to understand the theory of how it works, because if I know how it works, then I know how to make other things do other, you know what I mean? I can create. At that point, I can start engineering on my own if I understand how it works. So that's why it's always my goal to understand the theory of something more so than just say how to do a repair or something like that, because then you're limited in your scope. I don't want to do that. I want to keep the sky as a limit when it comes to learning. Alright, let me post this headline. Not anything important, but want it up there for when we reach there. Alright. Energy disaster awaits EU after this winter, says oil CEOs. They are really banging the fear drum for next year. And so that's really kind of telling me that this is way more orchestrated than what it is circumstance. Because how could they know? Russia and Iran set to close massive energy deal, says official. Not only that, but, by the way, backing up, when you've got their companies, their energy corporations making record profits just like the U.S. is, come on. We have to stop. We have to stop. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to give up oil. We just have to stop these crooks from controlling it. There's a difference. Yeah, we might have hard times during the transition. I can guarantee hard times during the transition. But we either do it and actually have stock in something, or we don't, and they take us down to our knees and we own nothing. I'd rather fight standing up myself. Russia and Iran set to close massive energy deal, says official. Top White House official held undisclosed talks with Russia, says Wall Street Journal. Now, wait a minute. If that had been Trump in office, not that I'm shilling for Trump by any means, but could you imagine the outrage? Russia sets grain deal deadline for the UN. Ukraine conflict approaching its Stalingrad, says Serbian president. Millions of Ukrainians affected by blackouts, says Zelensky. A Wall Street banker predicts dollar's demise. Moscow dismisses claims of Russian interference in U.S. midterms. Tech giant Meta to announce major changes, says Wall Street Journal. Let's see, I read that. Memorial to tortured cat unveiled in St. Petersburg. Covered that. Boris Johnson canceled fresh PM bid because of money, says the Observer. A Russian ex-president names key reason for Ukraine conflict. Italy's new migrant policy under fire. Kiev gets new... I covered that one. Let's see. EU official reveals how far Ukraine is from membership. Finland clarifies stance on nuclear weapons. China reacts to UK minister's scheduled Taiwan visit. Austrians urged to save every kilowatt hour. EU compares dependency on Russia and China. China's oil imports surged to 5-month high. North Korea explains missile tests. Pope issues warning to German Catholics. Covered that. Ukraine nationalizes company of one-time Zelensky backer. British nuclear submarine caught fire, says The Sun. Let's see. World is on a highway to hell, says UN chief. Germans reveal fears for financial survival in poll. Elon Musk makes midterm endorsement. EU member won't support joint Ukraine aid effort. Putin to personally address mobilization issues with Russians. A rapper seeks political asylum in Russia. War of words in Italy over Ukraine aid. Putin ally comments on U.S. election meddling. British PM rushed out from climate conference. And that is the headlines. There you go. Like I said, more craziness. Their energy war is raging on. Their war against you continues to rage on. And it's going to. They're not going to stop until they grind this all to a halt. At least far enough that they can implement all of their plans. I sure as hell hope humanity wakes up and at least fights back. I don't expect to change it. I don't expect to win. If it was going to turn out like that, I'm pretty sure that would have been written in the good book. Nah, I think I'm going to trust what it says versus smoking opium. However, as I've said, and I mean it, I'm going to go down standing and fighting. Period. This world has gotten insane and out of control. Most important thing you can do. Stay close to the Father. Build that integrity. Keep getting ready. If you need to work on the mental/emotional side of preparedness, I highly recommend you get on that. How to do it? I don't know. I ain't got much for you other than, reading some books. And yeah, I'm talking about fiction books. I'm talking about the Home series. I'm talking about the Borrowed World series. I'm talking about the Locker 9 series. The 1 Second After series. Believe it or not, they can make a substantial impact on your thought processes. Going through, I don't know, I'm somebody that gets, and I'm not a big reader, but when I do read, I get really caught up. I mean, I really let myself sink in. And there is an emotional impact to events that happen in the book. For me. Maybe that's not the case for everyone. But even that is a help. Because what it will do is help familiarize yourself with the situation and those feelings from the situation. So that maybe it won't be such a rush of unknowns when it actually happens. They've been using that theory for years to desensitize, to normalize. been used for both good purposes and bad. We are going to need to use it for survival. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. I'm going to get to bed. I hope everybody has a good night. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow night. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.